Hi, I'm Mike Ketstrom, owner of Driver Driven Transportation. I'm here with Deanna Stowe, our recruiting manager. And there's no secret that the trucking economy today is in sorry shape. The spot market is ridiculously low, and there's too many trucking companies, whether you're one truck or 250 trucks, that are struggling. As a heavy owner operator company, we have something to offer that I believe is a little bit more unique than many of the companies in our industry. We are very customer sales driven. We don't rely on the spot market for our freight. And we also have kind of a unique niche that really attracts customers that are more service driven than price sensitive. So it does somewhat insulate us from brokers and small carriers competing with us, but it also creates an opportunity today to allow small owner operator fleets or individual owner operators that may need kind of a beacon from the storm, and they need some solid financial ground to set on. We have a variety of kind of unique owner-operator program-driven accessorials that I think separate us from the rest of the companies. And Deanna's talks to many drivers every day. And I believe our terminal pay program, number one, speaks pretty loudly to these people, especially if they've been feeding off the spot market. Like during COVID, when there was so many trucks and not enough freight, anybody, or I'm sorry, so much freight and not enough trucks, excuse me, it was easy to get high paying freight, and individuals and small fleets could make a very good living. But as we all know, that was kind of a short-lived period. Will that come back? Yeah, I mean, it will, because it's very cyclical, but I feel that probably 65 to 70% of the time we're in a more heavy capacity, less freight than the opposite. So those periods of time where there's so much more freight than there are trucks, it's limited, but it does come back. And in fact, I read something interesting the other day about government programs that, as we all know, back during COVID, there was programs that allowed smaller carriers to be compensated in order to retain their employees, and it, actually, I think it's caused this recession in our industry to expand further than naturally, but it's that money has to be paid back, or that money has been used up now, and now we're starting to see companies suffering, and I think it'll probably be another 6 months to a year before there's an actual shift. Has this recession crested? It's hard to say, but it's I know that when I speak to my peers, they're not as busy as they typically are this time of year. And so that brings me up to the reason we're talking is owner-operators that have relied on the spot market. We want you here. The niche that we offer that makes us unique is, first of all, we handle volume LTL shipments from our customers, not just truckloads. We're probably a 60% LTL to 40% truckload when we talk about the type of freight that we have. And it allows us to put together stronger truckload shipments with stronger rates than a straight truckload from a customer. And what that does is that allows us to pay more for drops. I believe today we're at $100 per stop for the drivers. And it also, we have kind of a unique feature. We believe in drivers' time is valuable. And so after 1 hour of sitting somewhere waiting for the freight, we have a detention policy that pays you regardless if we get paid. Now, our customers, because they value service over price for the most part, they honor our 1 hour policy, and they're pretty good about getting us in and out on time. But there are times, unfortunately, we do have to handle broker freight. It's a smaller percentage of the time than most carriers, but when we do, they're usually looking at 2 or 3 hours. Well, we're still paying our trucks after 1 hour. Our name, Driver Driven Transportation, the reason we chose that name is because we value the driver. We recognize that without the driver, not just a driver, but a professional, responsible, some even charismatic, we have a few of those drivers in our fleet that really makes this niche that we have possible for us. And so we put a real emphasis on taking care of the driver, and our longevity rates speak for itself that way. And the amount of money that they can make in a year. I mean, it all comes down to how hard do you want to work. Mm-hmm. And some guys are at the twilight of their careers, and they don't want to put on 130,000 miles or 140,000 miles, and that's fine. Something else that's kind of neat that we have, that I found with our drivers who've been with us for 20 or more years, when they get up into those retirement years, I really discourage them from buying another truck. They don't want to work hard enough, really, and they can't work hard enough to really support a truck payment of these new truck prices. And then when you add the maintenance on top, it gets kind of ridiculous. But we'll take a guy that's maybe wants to run 70, 80 or 1,000 miles a month or a year, and we'll put him in one of our trucks, and we can rent a truck to them, so they still maintain their owner-operator status. And then we do have a relationship with a leasing company that allows us to put them in. It's a similar model to an employee driver, but they're not our employees. They're through the leasing company. And that it gives the driver an opportunity to not have those variable costs that the owner-operator truly experiences, like the fuel and the maintenance, the tolls. When you're in a company driver position, sometimes that just gets to be too stressful. And some of these guys, I mean, they've paid their dues with us, and they've done a wonderful job. It's kind of neat to. We've got a few guys that only want to work in the winter, or they only want to work in the summer. It just depends on what their lifestyle's like, and to be able to still keep them busy and put them in a nice truck, that's pretty rewarding. And getting, whether you're an employee of ours or you're an owner-operator or a driver, when someone stays with you long enough to retire, that's really heartwarming, because we've both done something right.
And passed.
Yeah.
Because they come back.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, we have had that. They come back and work part-time, or some guys, the grass is always greener on the other side, and they have that experience, and they realize what they thought was out there. And that's where those periods of time where, when the market is really strong and there's too much freight and not enough trucks, everybody gets big dollar bill signs in their eyes. And it works for that period of time. Mm-hmm. But there's the swing side of that. And that's when you get them back. And oftentimes they don't leave again, because it's just, you hear the nightmares of these guys working with brokers trying to get their money, and the games that get played out there. Brokers are necessary in our industry, and there's times that we need to use them as well to get our truck backs from an area that we're not typically in because we're an irregular route carrier. We'll go anywhere in the lower 48 that our customers want us to. But sometimes that puts us in tough spots. But these independents and guys with 3 or 4 trucks, you can't afford to lose that money, especially when you consider what the rates are today to fix trucks. In fact, I heard a dealer, I'm not going to name the manufacturer, but it was $220 an hour. Mm-hmm. And that's you add those type of costs, you add towing costs, fuel that fluctuates, it almost becomes unbearable. And so if you're in that place right now where you just feel desperate, and you need a new company that does care, all we ask is treat our customers, treat us with the same level of respect and dignity that we treat you. And if you can do that, we'll work out a great relationship. One other kind of unique situation here is that I like to consider us a family company, even though I never was part of the original family that started this business 45 years ago. I've been here 38 years, and in 2005 I became an owner. But I know what it feels like to be an employee, and my door is always open, and that's kind of a cliche. You have people that say that, but if you ever bump into one of our drivers and you ask them if that's factual, they will tell you. Every day I have a driver that comes in and just wants to say hello and wants to sit down and talk. Sometimes they're going through some tough stuff, and it's an honor to be trusted with that type of relationship. And I'm 65 years old, and I should be done with this, but I'm still here, and I'm not sure when I'm leaving. I never want to be a burden, so hopefully I don't know. Never. Yeah, whatever. But as long as drivers have needs and want to feel like they're part of a company that cares about them, and they're not just a number, that's who we are. And we're not big, we're a 60 truck fleet, but we've been around for a long time, and our success speaks for itself. And I know that success doesn't have to do with one person. That success is a cumulative effort of not just the people in the office, but the people behind the wheel. And I'm grateful for those people. And we'd love to have you come join us. All right, what am I missing?
I was thinking lunch for the drivers every other Friday.
No, yeah, it's fun to feed them. It's fun to sit with them.
And they enjoy it.
Yeah. I wish every truck, every new truck that came on was a home run. I wish every new truck that came on, we wanted to stay with us until they retired. Unfortunately, not everybody fits the profile that we're looking for, and there's too much brokenness in this industry, and there's too many drivers that have been at companies that have abused them and stolen from them, made promises that they couldn't keep, and it's not only the driver that suffers, it's his family too.
Some of the big bullet points I was thinking is that we do cover the road and fuel tax. We do cover the trailer cargo liability insurance.
We don't charge you for using our equipment.
Nope, no charging for the trailer.
We do pay on a mileage basis. It's the same loaded and empty.
We also have a quarterly and an annual bonus.
Yeah,
based on safety and mileage.
Safety. Yep.
Those are big points.
Yeah, and that terminal pay, we're advancing. When you leave here with a load, you're probably getting 90 cents a mile of an advance to help you with your road costs. And then when you get back here, and a lot of our freight is straight out and straight back,
Yep.
because this market is kind of where our best revenue is produced, and so we want to get the trucks back here.
Well, and 100% of the freight out of Minnesota is customer freight.
Yep. Yes. And again, the type of freight that we handle is very service oriented, and our customers don't want us to broker their freight. They want our equipment, and that makes a big difference because we're hitting specific delivery times. Sometimes we need a lift gate. Sometimes we might need a ramp. It's typically all dry van freight, although we did recently start a Conestoga division to kind of complement some of our shippers on that dry van side. And as I mentioned earlier, 60% of our freight's less than truckload, the volume less than truckload. But it's unique freight. It's freight that's easily damaged. Maybe it's meeting crews.
Very important to be on time.
Yes, or be early. And the good drivers are typically there the night before. Mm-hmm. What else am I missing here, Deanna, as far as
I think you
benefits?
pretty much hit it all.
No. All right. Thanks, Deanna.